In the village of Highbury, Emma's Mr. Woodhouse always has the last word on what is healthy and unhealthy when it comes to food. He says, "Let Emma help you," to his guest, Miss Bates, "to a little bit of tart, a very little bit. Ours are all apple tarts. You need not be afraid of unwholesome preserves here. I do not advise the custard." In the following recipe, we have followed Mr. Woodhouse's strictures to a T, excepting a little apricot glaze to add a tempting sheen to the sliced apples. Now, I was very lucky to be able to pick up some of Robert Tousley Anderson's cookbooks recently, and one of the first ones I got was this Jane Austen's Table. Now, if you've followed this channel for a while, you will know that I am a huge Jane Austen fan. I absolutely love all of her books. So when I saw the cookbook, of course, I had to pick it up. Now, for those of you who have read all the books, you'll know that Miss Austen really wasn't that much of a foodie, so not a lot of her books actually focus around food, except for one, which I will mention here in a minute. But we do get descriptions of food when her characters go to balls and picnics, and especially dinner parties. Now, on the other hand, Miss Austen herself was a foodie, and a lot of her personal letters to her sister Cassandra have lots of descriptions about where she went and what she ate while she was there, and she loved to describe that food in detail. We're also lucky enough to have a cookbook that was actually written by her sister-in-law and very good family friend for so long, a Miss Martha Lloyd. Now, she wrote down quite a few recipes, and also Jane Austen's mother wrote down quite a few recipes in that cookbook. And you can actually purchase a facsimile of that cookbook, which is something that I hope I will be able to do pretty soon. And as for that one Jane Austen book in which food is very important, those of you who've read it will probably already know that I'm going to say Emma. This book has an extremely important picnic scene that changes the whole trajectory of the entire book and actually leads to its conclusion. Now, for anyone who hasn't read it, I will not spoil what happens on that picnic, but it's such an important scene that every adaptation of Emma, whether it be for a TV series or a big cinema movie, has to include that picnic. And now that we've got just a little bit of how Miss Austen viewed food, let's go ahead and make something out of this cookbook. I've got a really fun one. I think it's going to taste so good. And we will do our taste test and a review of this cookbook. So let's go ahead and get started. we've got our apple tarts in the oven and the jam already made. Let's go ahead and take a look inside this cookbook. Now, what I really liked about this cookbook, number one, is of course the aesthetic. I think this is really indicative of Jane Austen, these beautiful flowers and the colors that were chosen for this cookbook. As you can see, the inside of the cookbook follows the color scheme, which I really enjoy. And even the paper is printed on, you probably can't tell because I have a really bright light on in here, but the paper is a little bit of a pale yellow, which is so pretty and really goes well with this pink and then the blue of the cover. I also really enjoy all the interspersed little drawings. I think these are beautiful, and these are throughout the cookbook. You have beautiful pictures of a lot of the food in here. And I really enjoy the organization of this cookbook. You can see the theme is still followed throughout with the pretty little border, and you've got this beautiful hand-drawn picture inside, and even the font goes so well together. And the author includes a little blurb about each thing and why he chose the particular designations. Like, for instance, we had breakfast over here, but then we also had picnics and light lunches. And he talks about what that actually meant in the Regency era when Jane Austen was alive, and I really appreciate that. You see here we have General Tilney's hot chocolate, which of course this character was actually drinking hot chocolate in Northanger Abbey. So I really think that's a great touch, making the food that is indicative and was used or made by each character. You have some gorgeous lunches and dinners in here. And interspersed are these beautiful watercolor type illustration of flowers, which I think goes along with Jane Austen's theme so well. Now, here's what we are making today. I doubt that mine are going to look as good as this, but hopefully they're still in the oven, so there's still time for them yet. And now another thing that I also really like about this cookbook is the author will include the quote of whatever food item that was referred to, in this case, the apple tart from Emma. And of course, he will put that in the description here along with which character said that or referred to that kind of food. Overall, I'm really impressed with this cookbook. I love the theme. I love the fact that everything was thought out so carefully, including the colors and the type of paper used. And I also like the fact that they researched to find out what was Regency food and what was referred to by Jane Austen in her books, but also her personal letters. Now, you can see that I bought this at TJ Maxx for $14.99. There was one left, and so I grabbed it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be in your particular TJ Maxx, wherever you may live, but it is on Amazon. And if you're a Jane Austen fan, I would highly recommend this cookbook. I think it's so beautiful, especially if you love to have Jane Austen themed parties or tea parties. You're going to have a wealth of recipes at your fingertips that you can impress your guests with. And there we go. I absolutely adore this cookbook and hope you check it out. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and check out our apple pies. I believe they might be close to done, if not done already. Ooh, now as promised, they don't look exactly like the picture, but that's okay because they smell good and I suspect they're going to taste good. Now let's go ahead and get our apricot glaze on there while they're nice and warm. Because you can see they weren't too pretty just taken out of the oven, but then get that apricot glaze on there and look how suddenly appetizing and beautiful it looks. This is the last one, so let's go ahead and call Mitch from his work outside and try one of these absolutely beautiful and great smelling tarts. All right, the moment we've all waited for. I figured we'd just have a tart each.
Okay.
Since they're a little bit on the smaller side. Or at least that's our excuse. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, that's hard to put down.
Yeah.
So initially I thought, oh, I'm not getting anything. And then the apples and the butter.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the butter's the best part. But the butter and then the apricot jam just kind of boom explodes into your mouth and really pulls those flavors together. Now, they're not super sweet, which in this case, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that means you could probably eat the whole thing, like we're going to do, you know, without that horrible heavy sugar feeling.
Yeah.
And I think they would be perfect for like an afternoon tea.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have like a, like a good snack. Like if you want to have like a Jane Austen moment, you know, have a little pie with a cup of tea while you're reading Emma, you know. Sounds like a good afternoon to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. I really like these.
Yeah.
And something that I do like about this is they're incredibly simple. That makes this dessert incredibly easy.
Yeah.
So, I think that makes it very accessible to someone who wants to bake something but not, you know, have maybe time to put in a whole lot of like effort and stuff like that. So I actually really like the fact that these were quick to throw together because that means you can have an afternoon tea snack like that.
Yeah.
So that, and it tastes good.
Yeah.
So how could you beat that? Fast and tasty. We love that in a recipe. So we're going to go so we can hurry up and eat this because it's kind of staring at us. And I would highly suggest trying this recipe. I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah.
By the way, you know, really good. And of course, I've already said, if you're a Jane Austen fan, pick this up. You're going to love it. So there we go with our first cookbook in the Anderson series, and I'm going to start calling it. This author has put out 3 so far. I've got 3, and a 4th is coming out really soon, which also looks so good. I'm going to go ahead and get that one too. So that 4th one will probably be on the channel a little bit later. But for this month, we are going through all 3 of his cookbooks. Yeah. And this was just the first one. I can't wait to show you the other 2 because they are so great and I was so excited to buy them. So, hope you stay tuned for that, and hope you enjoyed this Jane Austen moment because we certainly did, and we get an awesome tart after we stop filming, so that's always a boon for us. Thank you for watching this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy, and make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.